In the summer of 2016, on the Atlantic coast in Tangier, a vast new palace was constructed for King Salman of Saudi Arabia. It was surrounded by a high perimeter wall, which was equipped with security cameras, and it was guarded by soldiers. Even though the Saudi government had to cancel projects worth $250 billion back home as part of a fiscal austerity program, workers hustled to finish bright blue landing pads for helicopters at the vacation compound and to erect a tent the size of a circus big top where the king could feast and entertain his enormous retinue. So, how does King Salman get all of this cash aside from being, well, a king? And how does he spend it? Stay with us to find out more, and be sure to subscribe to our channel for more content. The oil reserves that were found during the reign of King Abdulaziz ibn Saud, Salman's father, more than 15 years ago, are the source of the royal family's immense wealth. The sale of oil generates billions of dollars in annual allowances, public sector sinecures, and other perks for royals. The wealthiest of these royals own French chateaux and Saudi palaces and stash their money in Swiss bank accounts. King Salman is the current chairman of the family business, which is sometimes referred to informally as Al Saud Inc. The persistently low price of oil has put a strain on the economy and forced people to question whether or not the family, which already has thousands of members and is continuing to expand, can simultaneously maintain its lavish lifestyle and its uncontested grip on the country. These are troubling times for the royal family, which is led by an 80-year-old man who has suffered at least one stroke in the past and is expected to be the last of 6 sons of the founding monarch to hold the position of sovereign. He has to gain the cooperation of a large group of wealthy relatives, some of whom are worth billions of dollars, all of whom were brought up with an expectation of luxury and abundance. Even though serious issues are occurring outside the borders of the country, such as a costly war in Yemen, violence in Iraq and Syria, and an emboldened Iran, it is the economic woes of the country that have the potential to incite unrest among common citizens, particularly if their cradle-to-grave benefits are reduced to an excessive degree. For a very long time, government spending has been kept afloat by the profits made by Saudi Arabia's national oil company, Saudi Aramco, because listing it on stock exchanges in New York or London would bring new audits of Aramco and possibly more insights into government funding, and in turn, money for the royals. Some members of the family have resisted a proposal by the king's son, Deputy Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, to partially privatize it. Mohammed bin Salman is the king's son and the deputy crown prince of Saudi Arabia. As a result of the government's actions in response to the enormous budget gaps it is currently facing, consumer costs for things like gasoline, electricity, and even water have all gone up. The kingdom has started taking out loans in the billions, both domestically and internationally. In addition, there has been a reduction in hiring by the government, which is a significant employer of Saudis and is highly sought after. This has caused younger people who are currently unemployed to feel anxious about their future. Anas Al-Qusair, the spokesman for the Ministry of Culture and Information, stated that the royal family is sharing the pain as their allowances have been reduced. This information was provided by the ministry. According to several Saudis who are close to the royal family, at least some members of the royal family have not seen a reduction in their allowances. According to Stefan Herdog, an associate professor at the London School of Economics who wrote a book on the political economy of Saudi Arabia titled Princes, Brokers, and Bureaucrats Under Salman, princes again appear to enjoy a lot more material privileges, and the core allowance system has not been changed. Under Salman, princes again appear to enjoy a lot more material privileges, and the core allowance system has not been changed. Some royals are still spending big. According to Dania Sino, a real estate agent with Belles d'Emirates de France, several members of the same family have been purchasing real estate in Paris over the past year. She recently made a transaction with a Saudi princess that resulted in the sale of a nearly 11,000 square foot apartment located on the prestigious Rue Octave Feuillet for more than $30 million. The New York Times has pieced together details of the family's spending by conducting dozens of interviews with diplomats and money managers, economists, real estate and travel agents, interior decorators, and members of the House of Saud, as well as by reviewing court records and real estate documents. The extent of the clan's wealth is a well-guarded secret that no one is allowed to discuss, because the money is split among a large number of relatives who are dispersed across multiple continents. Accurate accounting is challenging. The funding mechanisms are intentionally designed to be obscure. Although cracks are appearing in the wall of secrecy due to legal cases and tabloid reports emanating from other countries, the royal family has learned not to flaunt their wealth in front of the country's 30 million commoners. The members of the family have constructed tall walls around their palaces, acquired overseas assets through the use of shell companies, made large investments via intermediaries, and required employees to sign non-disclosure agreements as a condition of employment. The Panama Papers were leaked in April, and their contents revealed that King Salman of Saudi Arabia was involved in offshore companies located in Luxembourg and the British Virgin Islands. According to the records, he owned a yacht as well as properties in London that were worth multiple millions of dollars. Joseph Kachikian, who has studied the Saudi royal family for 3 decades and written a book titled Succession in Saudi Arabia, stated that the number of relatives in the Saudi royal family is in the thousands. However, estimates diverge from that point forward. According to his estimation, there are currently 12,000 to 15,000 princes and approximately the same number of princesses. 5 years ago, Princess Basma bin Saud, a daughter of King Saud, estimated that there were 15,000 members of the royal family. However, according to Qusair, a spokesman for the Saudi Ministry of Information, there are no more than 5,000 people in the House of Saud. One of the reasons for the disagreement may be that people count distant relatives and families who ruled before the time of King Abdulaziz, the current king's father, differently depending on whether or not they do so. At some point in the future, the size of the family might become unsustainable. Saudi middle class. Some observers believe that maintaining a healthy balance of rewards has become more difficult as a result of the expansion of both the average family size and the overall population. Even though there is a robust social safety net in Saudi Arabia, including free education and healthcare, there are still people living in poverty in the country, and many members of the middle class struggle to make ends meet. At the top level, they know that they have to leave something for the rest of the country, otherwise they'll be out on their ear. Jean-Francois Sesnek, a senior fellow at the Global Energy Center at the Atlantic Council, said of the royal family, "They know that they have to leave something for the rest of the country, otherwise they'll be out on their ear. You can't have one part of society take advantage if you ask the population to make sacrifices for the state to get money," the argument goes. If you ask the population to make sacrifices for the state to get money. Senior members of the House of Saud are painfully aware of the fact that the House of Saud was responsible for the internal strife that led to the loss of their previous kingdom in the 19th century. In 1964, King Saud was removed from power and replaced by his brother, King Faisal. However, King Faisal was later killed by a nephew of King Saud. King Abdullah's response to the unrest that occurred in countries all around Saudi Arabia during the Arab Spring was to spend $130 billion on salaries and social programs. These expenditures were made in response to the Arab Spring. As soon as he took over from Abdullah in January 2015, Salman showered his subjects with gifts estimated to be worth $32 billion. These gifts included bonuses equivalent to 2 months' worth of pay for government workers. Oil prices had already started their sharp descent, but it was not yet possible to predict how far they would continue to fall. 3 months later, the king promoted his nephew Prince Mohammed bin Nayef, who is now 57 years old, to the position of the first crown prince among the founding king's grandsons. He then promoted his son, Prince Mohammed bin Salman, who is now 31 years old, to the position of next in line. According to Artavan Amir Aslani, a business lawyer who has advised Saudi princes on real estate acquisitions in France. While members of the family have been investing overseas for decades, the pace of buying homes abroad has quickened in the last 2 years. This is even though family members have been investing overseas for decades. Thank you for watching our video. Let us know what you think by leaving a comment below. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel so you can see all the new videos. See you guys on a brand new one.